All right, I just watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which plot-wise was actually pretty different than I expected. So I guess before I get to it, for the one of you who watches all of these, they always have spoilers in them. This one, right out of the gate, is going to be pretty spoiler heavy. So I'm going to warn you now, and then hopefully not again. Probably 6 more times, knowing me, but hopefully not again. But yeah, just spoilers galore incoming. So be ready for that if if you haven't seen it. So the general plot is about saving America Chavez, which I more or less knew going into it. I did not know, and I don't know if it was announced, if it was leaked, and I missed it. I don't know, but I did not know that Scarlet Witch was the villain of this movie. I knew she was a part of it, but I didn't know that she was like the villain, which was interesting. They revealed it super early in the movie. I think they could have done a little bit more, making it kind of twisty. There was obviously a few minutes in the movie where you don't know who the villain is, and then it's like, oh, it's her. But like, I don't know. They could have played with it a little bit more. But overall, the premise of the movie worked. The plot made sense. It made sense why she was the villain, why she was doing what she was doing. Obviously, she's corrupted on top of it, so she was able to be redeemed at the end. She's not purely evil as it stands. But yeah, the plot isn't. I mean, how often do you watch Marvel movies for the plot? It was fine. But as for what happens along the way, so there was a fair bit of Wong in this movie, which is definitely never a bad thing. Wong's cool, uh, pretty funny. He is the Sorcerer Supreme, so he has to be in a Doctor Strange movie. Uh, Benedict Cumberbatch, still really good as Doctor Strange. Big fan of that casting. I think it works incredibly well. The first Doctor Strange movie was one of my favorites, and I do like that we had the return to defeating the villain by more or less outsmarting them. I guess in this case it was out moraling her, but whatever. Outsmarted, rather than just, straight up overpowered. Uh, that, like, even with Thanos, he was a little bit outsmarted by Tony Stark there, but in at least some sense, he was just straight up overpowered, right? He was defeated. Scarlet Witch beat the crap out of him. Captain Marvel beat the crap out of him. Then Iron Man, his suit overpowered the other Iron Man created gauntlet, steal the stone. It was an overpowering. Like, that's how most of these end. And that's not the case here. And it's especially difficult because, like, unlike with Dormammu in the first one, who's this big entity, Scarlet Witch, while her powers work far differently than Doctor Strange's, it's like, the classic superhero fights supervillain with the same powers as them at the end of the movie type of thing. And so we got to avoid that, though there was a fair bit of that throughout, but at least that's not how it concluded. I am a bit disappointed. I mean, Doctor Strange was in most of the movie, hence it being a Doctor Strange movie. We didn't see that much, like, creative magic. He had some floating with the cloak. We got some portals as always, and some little orange shieldy boys. And I mean, that's most of it. There wasn't a whole lot that was super creative, magic wise, from Doctor Strange, which is a bit disappointing. But so I guess that just leaves me to talk about the big woo of the movie, and that is meeting the Illuminati in I don't remember which universe they said it was, 800 something. So we meet the Illuminati. They name drop the Illuminati like right off the bat, and it's like, oh, what are we gonna see? And we saw all of it. So they introduced Black Bolt. Cool. They introduced Captain Carter. Well, reintroduced. It was in What If, but cool. I cannot remember her name, but in this universe, Captain Marvel's friend was Captain Marvel. It's killing me that I can't think of that, but yeah. Cool. Then we have the big ones. Reed Richards, which I knew that it's been a long time since it was announced that John Krasinski was cast as Reed Richards. And when that casting happened, I was like, cool. And then I saw like the picture of him as Reed Richards, and I thought it was just a mock-up. But that picture that you saw on the internet 2 years ago is exactly what he looked like here. And I'll be honest, it didn't work for me. I can't quite put my finger on what it was. Because, I mean, I like him as an actor, and I don't think he did a bad job or anything in it, but just, like, appearance-wise, something seemed a little off. I don't know if he's too young looking, if it was the beard, if it was the costume, but it just looked like John Krasinski playing Reed Richards on SNL or something is the appearance that I got, not the acting or anything, which was, again, fine. So, I mean, he could be fine reprising the role moving forward. Maybe when we see more, it'll make more sense. And then, obviously, the other big one is Charles Xavier, which they got Patrick Stewart to play, which is awesome. It'll be super weird when, and I do say when, because it'll happen at some point in human future. It'll be weird when somebody that's not him is playing Charles Xavier, but for now, that's not the case, so that's cool. We still have him. And those people make up the Illuminati in that universe. And they all got brutally fucking murdered, which was just like up to this point, there'd been a little bit of stuff that's like, oh, it's a little dark for a Marvel movie, which is good. Like, I kind of expected that, and that's how it should be for this type of movie. And then it got to that point, and she just fucked on them. Like, again, huge spoilers. I told you I'd say it again. But if you saw it, like, sealing off Black Bolt's mouth so he just blows up his own brain, cutting Captain Carter in half with their own shield. It was disgusting, and I say that in, like, the best possible, where, like, that's gross, but you mean awesome. Because I'm young and hip, and the slang is my vernacular. But, yeah. So it's weird because as I was sitting there watching the movie, I distinctly remember right around the time of that scene, I think it was a little bit after, thinking to myself, like, Marvel movies have kind of just become like a cash grab. It's like, this is an extended advertisement for the next stuff coming, and it really just took me out of it for a minute. And then when the movie ended, I was like, oh, I liked that. So I don't know, maybe I'm just super susceptible to their trickery, and I think that's fine. I'm as a comic book fan, like, that's gonna happen. That being said, so the movie ends with Doctor Strange walking out of the sanctum, and then he's, like, crossing the street, and he, like, screams in agony and collapses, and then the third eye appears, just like the evil Doctor Strange, and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? And then the movie cuts to black, and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? And then the first post-credit scene is, I actually don't know who the character is yet. I'm probably gonna look that up after, but can't look stuff up before the instant reaction video. But she pops in, she's like, I need your help. And he's like, cool, bloop, and just, like, follows along with her. Like, oh, okay, so he's not evil, there's not something super weird going on or anything here. He has another eye now? Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess he's just trying to make Thor jealous, because Thor has one eye and he has three. But either way, the movie was pretty good. Go watch it.